Hello, everyone. I'm Emma, and, well, in today's podcast, we're going to talk about something that usually makes people groan: IVR systems. We've all been there, right? Stuck in that press one for sales loop while listening to elevator music. It's frustrating. But my guest today says it doesn't have to be that way. Sanjeev Verma, CEO of Biz4Group LLC, is here. Sanjeev, you've mentioned that traditional IVR is basically a leaky bucket for real estate. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it really is. See, the problem is the psychology of the caller. Whether it's someone looking for a $4,000 a month penthouse or a tenant with a literal geyser in their kitchen, they're in a high intent state. When they hit a wall of please listen to our 9 options, their brain just checks out. Research shows, and we see this in the data, that about 30% of people just hang up. In real estate, missed calls mean lost revenue. So, what we're doing is moving to natural language understanding. It's basically teaching the system to listen to the human instead of making the human speak robot.
Okay, so let's walk through that. If I'm a tenant calling at 3 a.m. because my heater is out, what does that actually sound like? Is it just a smarter recording, or is something actually happening behind the scenes?
Well, it's a live, logical driven conversation. The system greets you, usually by name, since it's plugged into the property's CRM, and asks how it can help. When you say the heater is out, it doesn't just take a note, it's programmed with what we call PropTech business logic. It knows that in most of the states in America, no heat is a Class A emergency. It instantly checks the digital maintenance log to see if there's a building-wide outage. If it's just your unit, it can trigger a work order right then and there. It might even tell you the technician's ETA before you've even hung up.
That's a huge relief for the tenant. But what about the leads? If a potential buyer calls about an open house, can the AI actually vet them? Or does it eventually have to say, hold on while I find a human?
Actually, it qualifies them better than a distracted human might. The AI follows a specific playbook. It can ask, what's your move-in timeline? Do you have pets? What's your budget? If they check all the boxes, the AI looks at the agent's live calendar and just books it. No phone tag, no, I'll call you back in an hour. By the time the agent gets involved, the lead is already 80% of the way through the door.
I've noticed that some voice AI has that weird lag. It's like talking to someone on a satellite phone with a 3-second delay. How does Biz4Group LLC avoid that situation?
That's a big one. We call it latency, and it's the absolute enemy of a good conversation. If the AI takes even a second to think, the human brain goes, oh, this is a machine, and the trust is gone. Our engineering center has spent years optimizing the data pipeline. We use a streaming architecture, basically. AI starts processing your sentence before you've even finished speaking it. We've got the response time down to sub 100 milliseconds. Meanwhile, our experts handle the context layer, making sure it understands local real estate jargon and, well, just sounds like a person who knows the neighborhood.
And what about language? If you're in a place like Miami or LA, press 2 for Spanish feels a bit, I don't know, outdated?
Um, it totally is. We've done away with that. Our AI uses dynamic language detection. If you start speaking Spanish, the AI detects the phonemes and just switches its entire model instantly. No buttons, no. Stay on the line for a translator. It makes the property feel more inclusive and, frankly, much more professional.
You know, something just occurred to me. When we talk about listening to callers, some people get a bit, uneasy about privacy. How do you handle the security side? Is my conversation with my landlord being stored in some giant cloud forever?
That's a really fair question. Privacy is, well, it's everything. At Biz4Group LLC, we don't just use public models, we build private encrypted instances. The data is encrypted in transit and at rest. The memory of the AI is strictly for the benefit of the property manager and the tenant. We maintain the data to optimize our services. It's about building a vault, not a generic database.
Okay, so it's secure. But, well, what about the brand voice? If I've spent years building a luxury vibe, I don't want a generic robotic voice answering the phone. Can the AI sound like us?
Absolutely, this is where it gets fun. We don't give you a default voice. And we can clone a specific voice talent or even use your own team's voice to maintain that brand consistency. If your brand is laid back, Florida chic, the AI won't sound like a Wall Street banker. It'll use the tone, the pace, and even the specific greetings that your residents expect. It's an extension of your marketing.
I imagine that helps with those non-standard descriptions too. The sweating walls type of calls. But, what happens if the AI makes a mistake? Like, if it promises a tenant a credit on their rent that it wasn't supposed to?
Well, that's where the guardrails come in. The AI isn't just a free thinking agent, it operates within a logic box that we define during the build. It has strict permissions. It can book a tour, but it can't sign a lease. It can log a maintenance request, but it can't authorize a $5,000 repair without a human saying, okay. We set those boundaries early on so the AI knows exactly where its authority ends.
All right, let's talk about the stressed out caller. We know property management can be intense. People don't usually call when they're having a great day. Can a machine handle an angry tenant?
You'd be surprised. AI actually has an advantage here: infinite patience. It doesn't get defensive. We use sentiment analysis to monitor the caller's pitch and tone. If it detects that someone is truly frustrated or if the issue is legally sensitive, it triggers a warm handoff. It transfers the call to a human, but, and this is the key, it sends a digital briefing to that agent's screen. When the human picks up, they already know the tenant's name, the unit, and exactly why they're upset. You're not asking them to repeat their story for the 5th time.
I guess that's the dual presence advantage you mentioned. Having that Florida team to set those local boundaries. But let's talk money for a second. If I'm a mid-sized firm, what's the math look like?
The math is usually what closes the deal. Think about it. A 24/7 human-staffed call center is expensive, and, well, turnover is high. With our AI IVR, your training happens once. The system doesn't need benefits, it doesn't take sick days, and it handles unlimited simultaneous calls, even outside of business hours. Usually, our clients see a 60% to 70% reduction in operational costs for their frontline communications within the first year. It pays for itself by just not missing leads.
Speaking of not missing leads, what about follow-ups? How does AI handle it?
Oh, the trail is the best part. After the call ends, the AI can automatically send a text summary to the tenant. Hey, I've logged your leak for Unit 302. A tech guy will be there at 4 p.m. Or it sends an email to the lead with a link to the floor plan they mentioned. It's a multi-channel approach. The phone call is just the start.
And what about the big days? Like moving day when everyone is calling at once? Can the system handle, say, 50 calls at the exact same second?
Well, that's the beauty of cloud-native engineering. Traditional phone lines have a ceiling. Our system is elastic. Whether it's one person calling or 1,000, the response time is the same. It scales up instantly during a crisis and then scales back down.
For the folks listening who feel like their current tech is, well, let's say vintage, how hard is it to switch? Is this a break everything situation?
Not at all. We actually hate the rip and replace model. We use our milestone model. We just build an intelligent layer that sits on top of whatever you're already using. We plug into your phone lines and your CRM via APIs. We start small, maybe just handling after-hours maintenance, and grow from there. You own the code, you own the models, and you start seeing the ROI in a couple of weeks.
Sanjeev, this has been eye-opening. It's not just about bots. It's about making sure that first point of contact is actually human-centric.
Precisely. We're just using the tech to make sure the human connection is never lost.
Well, thanks for joining us. Your insights about how AI/VR can help real estate business have been truly amazing. So, if people want to see what you are building and how you do it, where should they go?
Just visit us at Biz4Group.com. You can see our work or reach out through the contact form. We'd love to chat.
Sanjeev, thank you for coming in. This was a great conversation.
Thank you for having me, Emma. It was a pleasure.